Hi YouTube, Extreme Trains here. So in this video we're taking a look at the latest installment in the Bachmann N-Scale range. It's an item which, to be honest, I was not expecting them to produce, and I'm even more wasn't expecting it given that we've seen the announcements for 2024 and potentially beyond, and they don't include the all-important companion character for this item. It is the N-Scale Toad, who is a brakeman. Very, very exciting. As you've probably seen on there, I paid 59 Australian dollars for this, which is a lot of money. So let's hope that this smacks it out of the park with detail. But it looked, to be honest, from even just looking at it inside the packaging, if it's anything like some of the other Bachmann N-Scale items, I think this is going to be a very, very excellent product. The question is going to be, are we going to get Oliver to go with him? But what are we waiting for? Let's do it. We've got the very standard Bachmann N-Scale packaging. Again, you can see N-Scale Thomas and Friends on this side, Toad the brakevan item number on this side, the printing on the back, little picture of Thomas, copyright 2022. This on the top. Again, shout out to Woodpecker Model Railways, which is where I buy these. And I'm going to address the price right now. So my understanding is that this price is the Bachmann recommended retail price. Now, what I have learnt from watching overseas model railway reviews is that apparently the standard in other countries is to never sell model trains at the recommended retail price. In Australia, as far as I have observed, that is not the case. Whatever the recommended retail price is, that is what the item will be sold at. And so while I think what happens with these items, but also a lot of model railway things in Australia, they seem to be designed to be able to be sold below retail, so that you appear, I imagine, so it looks like you're getting a discount, essentially. But that is not what happens here, which really means that when these prices are, that, which is twice the amount you pay for a non-Thomas and Friends brake car, which we'll do comparisons with later in the video, that is how you end up with a situation where you do this. I'm sure I'm going to get comments saying you should buy it from somewhere else. These guys here have been excellent. I essentially have a rolling order with them so that every time something new comes in from Bachmann N-Scale, they will put an order for me and they will call me as soon as it comes in and reserve one, which is very good because the stock process for model railways is equally as chaotic, if not more, than what Mattel does with its ordinary Thomas and Friends merchandise, which means it's very, very difficult to find places which can reliably get stock of a lot of model train stuff in Australia. And so having found somewhere that will do it and knows who I am and knows that I collect this stuff has been fantastic. So I cannot recommend the service of these guys enough if you're in Australia, but just you need to know that they charge the recommended retail price, which seems to be the general practice across most model shops I've seen here in Australia. That aside, let's get him out and take a look at Toad, who is hiding away inside his plastic prison. All right, we're gonna do the spin as we always do. I'm trying not to say anything, but I really want to just come in. Let's hone in on that face. That is a fantastic CGI Toad face, isn't it? Just amazing. And again, why is Bachmann so bad at Thomas's face? Like, my Thomas's face looks weird. I've seen the newer, I think, production runs of Thomas have less weird faces. I don't know what they've changed, but it seems to be a little bit better, but I'm not going to buy a whole new Thomas just for a face. But look at that face. It's fantastic. I think maybe the pupils are not quite looking exactly straight, but you know what? That's fine by me. But in terms of a design, 10 out of 10. That's a perfect Toad CGI face, in my opinion. We've got the great detail there with these silver buffers, which looks really, really nice. We've got a lot of molded detail on here. We've got the separately fitted brake pipe, or brake handle, I think you call that, which is really nice. We've got the two tail lights on the side. We've got these picked out handrails, again, part of the mold, but they still look very good. We've got the little chimney on top, which is fantastic. Come around to the back, again, you can see we've got proper windows. You can see out the front the silver buffers again. Come around to the side, you can see we've got the running board there, which is wonderful. He's got the printing on one side, which apparently is only something that happened in the CGI series. I haven't done a detailed comparison to check that that is true, but that is what I have seen has been the explanation for that. And then we come underneath, you can see we've got the standard Bachmann underneath. I think there's a little bit of, potentially a little bit of warping that's going on in these running boards. You can see they don't look quite level, but unless that's a design, unless it's purposely designed to be wider where the wheels are and thinner in the middle. Could be, don't know. But you can see that's what we've got here. In terms of copyright information, it says 2023 on there, Bachmann, Thomas and Friends. And we've got, again, the metal wheels, I think, for the plastic center is what it looks like, but they've got metal on the outside, which is great. It means they run very, very smooth, very quietly. And then we've got the normal Rapido, I think they are, couplings that Bachmann uses on its Thomas and Friends line. So yes, this is a very, very impressive looking little wagon. Let's do a comparison with some other brake vans that I've got, and let's just have a think about the price of this one. So in front of me, you can see two other grey brake vans that I have. One of them, I think, is a pillbox. That's what this one is called. And this one, honestly, cannot remember. Now, neither of them are the Toad style brake vans, but they are similar in that they are brake vans that are British prototype and that are both Pico from memory. I'm going to pick them up and check. Nope, this one is a Bachmann one, so that's a Graham Farish. And this one is a Pico. Yep, there you go. So the best comparison is probably these two in terms of level of detail. This one, I think, was about 25, 30 Australian dollars, somewhere in that range. Again, this one is 60 at full price. You can see we've got similar levels of detail. There's maybe a little bit more, detail on this, but again, I don't know whether that's just because that's what it actually has, whereas this is all the details in the show. One thing that is consistent across these Thomas and Friends items is they're very, very, very glossy. So they're really shiny, as you can see, versus the normal more matte satin finish that you've got on this one here. If you come up to an item that's a little bit more substantive in terms of the size, you can just see again if we take a quick look. So this one we've got no glazing, but again, that could be realistic for the prototype. I'm not sure. We do have the running boards. These ones are very straight, unlike the other ones, but we're dealing with plastic wheels. That's something Pico does a lot. They use plastic wheels. Whereas again, if we come here for the Graham Farish one, you can see we've got the metal wheels, I think all the way through on this one. Yeah, it looks like they're metal, including the axles. So look, the moral of the story is this is certainly not twice as detailed as either of these items, which both cost about half the price-ish. Probably different post-COVID than this one. So you really are paying for the Thomas and Friends license. You are not paying for extra detail or necessarily extra quality. But that said, let's get him running around the layout and do a little bit of a test run. So there's no question, Toad looks fantastic. He runs very well, as you would have just seen, and really does fit in, I think, quite well with the existing Thomas and Friends rolling stock that Bachmann has produced. So in my mind, you should absolutely pick him up. The question then becomes, what is the right price for him? As I said, I don't really have any other alternative, so I have paid the almost 60 Australian dollars that is being asked for as the recommended retail price here in Australia. That said, given what we've talked about and the comparisons made to other engines, rolling stock of a similar size and type, I think the real right price in Australian dollars would be about 40 Australian dollars, maybe 45 if we give the benefit of the doubt for the additional marketing and licensing fees that Bachmann is having to pay in order to have this model. But otherwise, I really think that's probably where this should be. And if you're paying more than that, you will still get a very good item. But the question for you is going to be, was it worth it? In my view, the answer is yes, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be the same for you. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. I'd love to hear your comments and your thoughts about this latest addition to the N scale lineup down in the comments below, because as always, that's what we've got time for. This is Extreme Trains.